This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Well, joining us today is Cedric Simonet, the Chief Executive Officer of Altona Rare Earths. Thank you very much for joining us again, Cedric. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, Mark.
Hi, yes, well, thank you for joining us, Cedric. Always nice to catch up with you. So we want to get a bit of an update, really, on some of the key achievements of the year and look to what's to come in 2024. So, just starting on the review of the year, what are the key things from you that have stood out from Altona Rare Earths this year?
Okay, well, it's been a very busy year for Altona for sure. We've managed to achieve a lot of the deliverables that we had promised. The first one in June was our listing on the main market of the London Stock Exchange. It took some time to get there, but we managed it, and now we are on the LSE. The other key deliverables have to do with our flagship project, the Monte Muambe rare earth project located in Mozambique. And that includes our maiden mineral resource estimate and the scoping study. So the maiden mineral resource estimate, the JORC resource estimate, totaled 13.6 million tons, 2.42% total rare earth oxide. That includes 0.31% neodymium praseodymium oxide. It's a very good result for us because we want to fast track Monte Muambe towards production. So we have a strategy which is very practical. We don't want to drill for numbers. We want to drill what we think will be mineable. So with 13.6, we already have enough for a potentially viable project. But as part of the pre-feasibility study, which is starting now, we will still look at increasing a little bit this figure towards maybe 25 million tons. And the scoping study equally gave some very, very positive results. So to remind those who are not familiar, a scoping study is a first pass assessment of the technical and economic viability of a project. The financial results of the scoping study included a net present value with an 8% discount rate post-tax of over $280 million and post-tax IRR of 25%. So this is excellent at the scoping study level. That shows that the project is viable and that fully backs our decision to go into the pre-feasibility study.
Fantastic. Yes, and that will be one of the big... You say the work has started now on the PFS. So, are you hoping to get that completed throughout the course of next year?
The work has started on the PFS. We already actually had some of the infill drilling events started in July. Right now, we are focusing a lot on the metallurgy. Metallurgy typically is a difficult aspect of rare earth projects. Monte Muambe is not an exception to that. So we are putting a lot of attention on the metallurgy. And our strategy is to try to make the most of the experience of different teams in the world. So what we are doing is that we are sending some samples to Canada, to SGS Lakefields, where there is a very competent metallurgical laboratory. But we also are sending sample to China to get the benefits of different experiences, different levels of expertise, and different approaches with metallurgical testing. So this is going to be the focus over the next 5-6 months, and then getting into the second quarter, when we will get into the dry season, the drilling season in Mozambique. We will do our infill resource drilling campaign with the objective of increasing both the tonnage, as I've said previously, and also the level of confidence, so that this resource can be converted into a reserve as part of the pre-feasibility study. And we will be doing all the other studies at the same time: geotechnics, environment, tailings storage facility. So hopefully, beginning of 2025, that's when we should have the PFS out.
Beginning of 2025, excellent. Well, it seems like there's going to be a lot of study work and work going on throughout 2025. 2024. So you've got the metallurgy, that is understanding how best to process, isn't it? The elements in the ground, to get a better idea how, that'll feed into the PFS and what infrastructure needs to be there in order to actually process the material that you're bringing up. So just thinking on some of the pieces of news that you've announced, you now own 51% officially of the project.
Yeah, that is correct. So the scoping study and the mineral resource estimates were the key deliverables for phase 2 of the earn-in agreement. So we've completed them. Immediately that was done, we notified our partners that we wanted to proceed with phase 3. So that entitled us to an extra 31% ownership in the project to take it to 51%. And last week, as we announced, the shares were transferred. So this 51% is now in the possession of Altona.
Excellent. That's a very significant milestone, isn't it? You're owning over 50% there. And you obviously can take it more, can't you, as you go up the further study route?
Yeah, that's right. So we already had control of the company and of the asset through the control of the board since the beginning. Now with 51%, we have even control at the shareholder level of the company. And by completing the pre-feasibility study, we will get to 70%.
Perfect. Okay. And then another bit of news recently, you've put in for the mining application, is that right, with the Ministry for Mines over there in Mozambique?
Yeah, this is correct. This is actually today's news. The RNS was published earlier today. So in Mozambique, you can get your mining, what we call a mining concession in Mozambique, Concessão Mineira, which is a mining license. And you can get this a little bit early in the life of projects, which is very good because it's one more thing that helps to de-risk projects. And the Mozambique government is very supportive with this. So we've just lodged the application. Theoretically, as per the regulation, the minister has 180 days to get back to us with its decision. So we are expecting a decision sometime mid-next year, basically.
Okay, but there's no reason to think that you might not be granted this.
No, if you just have a look out of curiosity at the Mozambique mining cadastre map, you will see lots of blue patches. These are prospecting licenses. And you will see lots of green patches. These are mining concessions. So the country actually issues a lot of mining concessions. The government knows very well that this is an important part of the process to get a project into actual becoming an actual mine. And the mining license we applied for has a duration of 25 years. So that covers the whole life of mine of the project, including possible extensions. As you will remember, in the scoping study, we looked at 18 years, but it's possible to do more. And also, a mining license can be renewed once if you get to the end of the first term.
Okay. Well, from my point of view, having followed Altona for a fair while, it's a very good year for the company, in my opinion. A lot of key things achieved. You've got that initial resource there of 13.6 million tonnes. You want to take it up to an official ore reserve, which will feed into the PFS, but the scoping study as well, giving you that first bite there of the feasibility of the project, looking, very feasible. So if you were to say, we've talked a little bit about it, metallurgy, you're going to be, that's ongoing, and we'll hear some news on that, I guess, in the first half of next year. And then, of course, you want to be getting straight into the PFS, probably the second half of next year, and it'll take you through to the end of the year, early 25. But what are the key things? I mean, if that's, we can't just have only those couple of things. What else can the market expect in terms of news flow and things going on that, they can really help to understand what you're building here in Mozambique?
Yeah, this is a very important question, the news flow, of course. The metallurgical part is part of the PFS. So in terms of news flow, what can you expect? During the beginning of next year, we are going to have some news coming out of the metallurgical part of the work. There are different sections because, as you've seen in the scoping study, the process has different steps. First, you have crushing and milling, and then you have flotation. You produce a concentrate. The concentrate has to go through ground leach. You have to remove certain elements like cerium to increase the grade of the product of the other rare earth elements. And then you have to leach the rare earths, and you have to produce the mixed rare earth carbonate, to precipitate the mixed rare earth carbonate. So what that means is that during all this phase, we are going to have a lot of news flows with the different steps of this process as we track them one by one. And then as we get back onto the field, you can expect a lot of drilling updates. You can expect advances with the studies, and you can expect a resource update at some point during the second half of 2024, and then ultimately a reserve statement, an ore reserve statement. So for those who are not familiar, resources is what you've got in the ground, and reserves is what is viable. The viability of the extraction has been proven through a PFS, like we are going to do, or a DFS. So lots of news flow, technical news flow. We are also working on a possible new acquisition. I've said that before. Mm-hmm. It's progressing. I can't say a lot, but that would be potentially a new project. And as we look into this project, it's not similar to Monte Muambe. Monte Muambe is a carbonatite. Carbonatite are large projects that require some time to go through studies and to go into ultimately production. But we are looking at a project which would be smaller and which could be developed a lot faster, possibly to have early cash flow for the company. So I don't want to say too much about this. We are working very hard on it, and hopefully some good news before the beginning of next year.
Before the beginning of next year. Okay, well, you've not got long left, Cedric. Maybe we will be catching up before the year is out. So I'll hang off saying happy holidays for now. But thank you very much for your time today. Cedric Simonet, CEO of Altona Rare Earths.
Thank you, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.